very good evening to everyone to Off the Cuff. And it is an extremely special edition of Off the Cuff with none other than the Pakistan High Commissioner, Mr. Abdul Basit. I know that every journalist in the country would want to be in the shoes of Mr. SHEKHAR Gupta and PRANAB, editor of THEPRINT, this evening. It promises to be an extremely interesting and, if I might add, extremely controversial evening. I'm going to hand over now to SHEKHAR and PRANAB to carry the conversation.
Basit sahab, thank you very much for finding the time. Am I right to say that the job you've held for a full tenure, Pakistan's High Commissioner of India, as the job of your counterpart, India's High Commissioner to Pakistan, is the most fun and the most challenging job in diplomacy?
First of all, thank you very much, SHEKHAR, for inviting me to the Off the Cuff. Greatly appreciate and looking forward to an interesting and constructive discussion this evening. I think it's both. It's both fun and challenge. Fun in the sense that we know each other very well. Usually stays very comfortable. We can make many, many friends. And challenging because issues which continue to bedevil our relationship are very complex issues. And to put the bilateral relationship trajectory on a constructive, positive path is always very difficult. But it is important not to give up because this is a very important relationship for both the countries, I believe. And so my stay here, I think, has been very interesting, and I thoroughly enjoyed my tenure here, and looking forward to be staying in touch with all my friends in India.
So, would you call your tenure too eventful or too uneventful?
Again, it was both. Eventful in the sense that it was for the first time that we thought that we could make a good beginning because Prime Minister-elect Mr. Modi invited Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and for his inauguration. And then our Prime Minister took a bold decision to come and attend his oath-taking ceremony. So the meeting between the two went very, very well, beyond my personal expectations. So we were very happy and upbeat about this, that things would now, can be taken forward. But unfortunately, subsequent events did not help us. And then we had a phase where we kept on trying different options as to how to break the ice, how to overcome the gridlock. And finally, I think after some behind-the-scenes work, we were able to convince Sushma Swaraj Sahiba to visit Pakistan to attend the Heart of Asia Conference on Afghanistan in December 2015. And you all know that we were able to agree on a comprehensive bilateral dialogue. So that, I think, was the high mark of my 3-year tenure. And we again were very happy and were looking forward to the resumption of the dialogue process. But then the Pathankot happens and everything falls apart. So, I mean, it's a difficult relationship, as I said, but the key is not to give up.
So why did Pathankot happen? What was somebody aiming to achieve through Pathankot?
No, I'm not privy to those, who have committed that crime. So don't ask me.
No, I'm asking for your studied understanding of the motive. Who would benefit from breaking this process, which was taking a turn for the positive?
I think let's look at it, from another perspective. Both Pakistan and India lost an opportunity to continue with that positive process. Though after the Pathankot, I must commend both the sides for not be disrupting the whole process in haste. We tried to retain the spirit of cooperation. As you would remember, our Prime Minister called Prime Minister Modi and assured him that both our countries should work together in order to get to the bottom of the incident. And then our joint investigation team also visited the venue. Despite the limited, mandate, I think the visit itself was helpful in many ways. So we did try to cooperate in order to understand or get to the bottom of the incident. But then, unfortunately, we were not able to sustain that cooperation because, from our viewpoint, it was important that while we are dealing with the Pathankot and other terror issues, we thought it is equally important to get the dialogue process back on track. But India wasn't ready for that.
There's a perception in India that each time there is any measure for a conversation or any hope for a dialogue or any such site is created, it automatically attracts some kind of a terror attack or something of the sort, which derails the process. And somehow or the other, it happens to have its origins in Pakistan. And the perception is that Pakistan doesn't do enough to act against those who actually try to derail this process. So we keep going around in circles. So what's the incentive for India to actually come to the talking table?
With due respect, I would not really agree with the latter part of your question or comment. All the more reason for the two countries to not to become hostage to such actions or such crimes. All the more reason for us to reach out to each other and do not disrupt the bilateral engagement. So as the two sides agreed back in 2009 at Sharm el-Sheikh that we better separate our engagement, bilateral dialogue from terrorism. So I think if we can recapture the spirit of the Sharm el-Sheikh joint statement, things can be taken care of. And then secondly, the incentive for India is that you cannot even address issues related to terrorism by disengagement, by not engaging with each other. In order for us to deal with such a huge monster that is terrorism, we need to cooperate with each other. We need to talk to each other. We need to engage with each other.
You're saying Sharm el-Sheikh is the basis, is the best basis to move forward?
I think so. And this was also agreed in certain ways, in some ways at UFA, because we came up with another stream of our engagement, that is NSA mechanism, whereby NSA and two National Security Advisors were mandated to deal with terror issues. And then the other stream was to talk on other issues, including Jammu and Kashmir, Siachen, Sir Creek, and so on and so forth. So we need to, get back to those two streams, to put it this way.
So are the NSAs talking to each other? Sorry, even today?
That you need to ask your NSA, please.
You would know.
What is your NSA telling you?
I haven't asked him.
So what went wrong after UFA?
UFA, you would all remember that there was I think we differed on the interpretation of the UFA joint statement. We thought that UFA statement had two operative sections. One was dealing with outstanding issues, including Jammu and Kashmir, though it was not mentioned explicitly, but when you say all outstanding issues, every issue is included. And the second operative part of the statement was NSA meeting and issues dealing related to terrorism. So whereas India was interested in discussions between the two NSAs on the latter second half of the joint statement, it was not very forthcoming to have a meeting between the two foreign secretaries when the advisor was here, so that they can discuss modalities for our future engagement. So I think that was the main reason as to why our advisor could not come to New Delhi. And then the interaction with the Hurriyat was also kind of, a moot point.
Was there at any point a serious effort to open a back channel with this new government?
Back channel, when the two prime ministers met, I can tell you that there was some discussion on this issue. But then, since we could not really do much about the front channel, the two countries perhaps thought it's not advisable to have the back channel kind of, working on its own. Because first we need to have a structured dialogue in place, and then to see as to how the back channel can complement that process. So the back channel on its own, I think both the countries agree, would not deliver on its own.
So should back channel complement the structured dialogue, or should structured dialogue be a complementary cover for the back channel? Because business is done on the back channel.
You can interpret it both ways, but I think if the front channel is there, then you can always, can take advantage of the things which you cannot discuss in the front channel to be more, discussed informally in the back channel. So that is the way how things have been done in the past as well.
See, I will not use an expression as euphemistic as a perception.
Mm-hmm.
The belief in India is that powers that be are not in front. That is your army.
Mm-hmm.
Elected leaderships have limited authority. So what's the point of engaging? You engage every once in a while, but make very little movement. Frankly, more movement has been made in the past with your military rulers, between Musharraf and Dr. Manmohan Singh. Even before that, between Zia and Rajiv Gandhi, in a very fraught situation in 1987 and onwards.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like there is a back channel, there is a structured dialogue, there is yet another structured dialogue between elected leaders, but the power is somewhere else. That's a belief in India. That's a belief, I would say, in most global capitals. How do you deal with that?
No, I think, at some state level, this might have been the case in the past, but I think Pakistan has come a long way since then. Now democracy in Pakistan has taken roots. Now, obviously, we do have security problems, security issues, and like in any other country in the world, including India, there are stakeholders. In Pakistan too, we have stakeholders. Our establishment is part and parcel of the decision-making process. But to say that they drive the whole Pakistan foreign policy, I think is not correct.
No, they may not drive, but they can stop it.
Not really, not really, because and I can tell you from my own experience that there is kind of national consensus in Pakistan that we want to have a normal relationship with India. And obviously, to normalize this relationship, we need to see as to how we can address our problems. Now, Pakistan can come this far, but we cannot normalize our relations unilaterally. Things cannot be done on the basis of your perception. I think you need to engage and then see as to where does the government stand, whether or not we are capable of taking decisions or not. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating.
Today you have India talking to all its neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
It launches a satellite
Mm-hmm.
in which all members of the SAARC countries are there as part of it. Pakistan is not.
Mm-hmm.
Pakistan plans to host a SAARC summit. It does not happen. Now, India seems to be continuing with other regional partners. So when you look at it from this perspective, do you feel Pakistan is getting left out from this larger regional narrative?
Not really. I do not know. Though we could not convene the 19th SAARC summit as was scheduled, but that was a collective loss for all of us because we have had spent so much into this organization. But this did not happen for the first time. SAARC summits had been, postponed in the past as well. But we do hope that we would be able to convene this summit in Pakistan, if not this year, next year. As for your observation that Pakistan has been left out, I do not agree because this year we were able to host ECO summit in Islamabad, which was a grand success, which was attended by all the President of Turkey, Iran, and other Central Asian Republic presidents and prime ministers. We have very strong relationship with China. We are also building brick by brick our relationship with Russia. USA continues to be our largest trading partner. With Europe, we have a fantastic relationship. So I do not see as to how Pakistan is left out.
You see a great opportunity coming up with China and the CPEC?
Yes, that is correct. CPEC is a flagship project in the context of BRI, and we hope that it will yield many good things for Pakistan and for the region as a whole. At the end of the day, it is the region, which should be benefiting from this huge project. China, bilaterally we have a great relationship. You all know about it. China does want to join the SARC, but there is, we still do not have consensus among the current SARC membership. But China is a major power now, and I think its engagement in the region is always helpful and useful for all of us, economically and otherwise as well.